in the Middle East, our closest Arab ally is Saudi Arabia, our close ally throughout the Cold War. What's the chance that Saudi Arabia is going to help us advance liberty and hope? I mean, obviously, the answer is zero. And if we were to try to democratize Saudi Arabia, the likely result would be something like what we saw in the Arab Spring in 2011, quite a chaos and death rather than freedom and liberty and prosperity. Now, I came into the White House as an aide with a very clear notion, which I'm going to express here even clearer in a moment, that Iran was an enemy of the United States. But that's not the way it presents itself to you when you're in the White House. Because the Iranians and the Syrians, they're great whisperers. And they whisper to the White House through intel agencies, through allies in the Middle East and in Europe, that we don't have a problem with you, really. We have to go out in public and say nasty things about you for domestic political reasons, but really we have a lot of shared interest, and you should work with us. I mean, the constant message of the Iranians when I was in the White House is, why are you so close to the Saudis? The Saudis are the source of all the problem. You should work with us, and you'll achieve a lot more. And we're much more alike, and we're a civilized people with a great history. Look, these guys are lizard eaters. What's wrong with you? So if you don't come in with a clear template, if you don't come into the White House already with a clear template of good guy, bad guy, there's nothing that you're going to see in the intelligence or in the diplomatic correspondence that's going to necessarily sort all of that out for you. It's an intellectual effort that has to take place really before you ever have any responsibility. The Iranians are moving into Yemen. And we are criticizing the Saudis. Maybe not the administration as much, but in Congress, the criticism of the Saudis is at levels we've never seen before because of their war in Yemen, which is to stop the Iranians from setting up a Hezbollah-like force among the Houthis. The Houthis already have missiles that can hit Riyadh, G8 capital. The Iranians can hit through proxies in Yemen. We are not a major threat to our enemies, and we are not much help to our allies. This is an unfortunate position to be in. The primary enemy is Iran, or more broadly, the Iranians and the Russians, especially working together, and they need to be contained. And what we should see our role as in the region is containing the most powerful and malevolent actors who want to do us harm, and that is the Iranians and the Russians. The Russian power in the region is built on the Iranians. If we take care of the Iranians, we are, in effect, taking care of the Russians. So I say focus on the Iranians and work with states and solve the counterterrorism problem within the context of the alliance with the states, that there is no such thing as a constructive Iranian policy. They don't have the tools and the capacity to build anything. They can destroy. They can threaten. They're like mobsters. They're like mobsters running a protection racket, and they can demand money from you, or they're going to destroy your house. And you only need to look at the Iranian concept of counterterrorism in Syria to see what I'm talking about. We have 10 million people. We have 1 million people killed and 12 or 13 million displaced in Syria. That's Iranian. That's Iranian counterterrorism at work. Obviously, the progressives in the Democrats are pushing very hard to make a return to to Obama's nuclear deal the platform in 2020. And this is an idea that is very popular in senior Democratic circles on the Hill and elsewhere. And it's the preferred policy of the European Union. And so what they're trying to do is to wait out. They're going to wait out Trump and then return policy to the grooves that President Obama he defined, and the critiques that they are advancing in the hearings in Congress and in the press wherever they can are critiques that are designed to lay the groundwork for that. So they want to anathematize the leader of Saudi Arabia. If President Trump is defeated in 2020, then we're going to go back to, I believe we will go back to the Obama policy, which I think will be total defeat. John Kerry was talking to Zarif, the foreign minister, and telling him exactly, keep the JCPOA on a low burner until we come back, and then we can go off to the races again. So the Iranians are very well informed about what the EU Democrat alternative policy is. There are people in the intelligence world who are leaking information. A great example is what they've done to him on Saudi Arabia. I mean, it kills me when I read in the New York Times about WhatsApp messages between Jared Kushner and Mohammed bin Salman in the pages of the New York Times. That's a severe violation of ethics, if not of law, because they burned a source. The Saudis believe that WhatsApp is secure. Now they know it's not. Everyone believed that WhatsApp's not secure. We told everyone it's not secure because it's on the pages of the New York Times. That's the CIA, because the NSA never burns a source. Never. The NSA is a military organization. Has a military ethos. The CIA is more political, right? The thing with they hate MBS. They hate MBS because the king. This is maybe too much inside baseball, but this is how Washington works. The king had Mohammed bin Nayef was the head of intelligence for years, and he was very close to CIA. And Mohammed bin Nayef was designated as crown prince. And the king moved Mohammed bin Nayef out and moved MBS in as crown prince. It was a huge blow to the CIA because they had been cultivating Mohammed bin Nayef for years. They had great relations with him, and they thought he's going to be on top and we're going to run the U.S.-Saudi relationship. We're going to be in the driver's seat. And then MBS made a special relationship with Jared Kushner. So suddenly, the favorite son in the family business has got this relationship, and we, the CIA, we're cut out. Bob Corker screaming that he's got information about the horrible things that MBS has done because he's been empowered by the terrible Trump administration, and so it becomes. There's a CIA bureaucratic agenda being followed, and then there's an anti-Trump agenda being followed, and the intel people who are doing that are violating the law.